I just wanted to mention, when you're building a bow and you get yourself a log or a stave, always get the best one that you can, um, because the straighter and with the less defects, the less problems you're going to have. Okay, if you have one that, if you have a choice when you walk around the woods, if you're looking for a tree that you have permission to harvest, walk around, look for the best one. Okay, don't get any with limbs and knots and say, oh, I could squeeze one out of here. If there's one that's, wow, that's perfect. Okay, it'll give you less problems. And then if you happen to have, like me, a couple of you get some logs, you cut them into staves, you trim up the staves into bow blanks, and then you look at them and there's some, maybe like this one here has a little knot missing, the other one had the punky wood. You'll have to look at the thickness. After a while, when you till these bows and you take it down, you'll say, I bet you if its punky wood wasn't here and it was structurally solid, I could tiller it down, and eventually that would, as I'm doing the tillering process, I'll remove that bad area. Okay, so that's what happened with the punky bow. I looked at it and I knew it was a little thicker and I needed to have it structurally sound. So if you have this punky wood, a lot of times you can put epoxy in that punky wood to make it solid. So just enough for you to shape it and sand it and get past the punkiness without it breaking. And that's what I attempted to do. Okay, and it worked out. So that's it. I just wanted to tell you, get the best wood you can, and I don't recommend like if that punkiness, if I wasn't 100% sure after I made it and I tilled it and I saw how much was gone, there was very little left and the epoxy filled it up, I'd be cautious that it's going to break. But I'm really 95% sure that that bow is going to be a great backup hunting bow for me. Okay, so just wanted to tell you that's a little trick. You can mix a little epoxy in the bad spots just to get it to, as you're flexing it down and removing material and get it to bend, when you get it down to almost putting the string on, a lot of times these bad pieces will disappear because you'll remove them during the tillering process. But you don't want to start tillering until you make them structurally sound, so it don't break till you get to that point. That's just my opinion. You can watch the video. As you're tillering and you see spots that are, when you have the bend on the bow, that are low, and you mark them with a pencil, let's say it's between here and here, take 60 grit sandpaper, start in the middle, take a couple strokes, and then work your way out of that area. Okay, and then just check it again and continue. This is 60 grit. It's a safe way of removing material. Who cares if it takes you a few days? All right, you do it right and you're going to have a nice bow without taking off too much material. Then I use 100 grit sandpaper around the edges too. Okay, so that's the little tip that I want you to do when you have weight reduction. Okay, even if it's a lot, you could use you draw a line, you can use a rasp to get it down to the thickness you want at first. But once you start the tillering process and you want to remove a little weight at a time, one of the videos that Beckham Keith Shannon made, Keith Shannon recommended you just take pencil and put pencil over the whole limb, okay, and then sand the whole limb back and forth until the pencil disappears. And if you have to do that 10, 20, 30, 40 times, it's a safe way of removing weight on each limb. And the top limb, I always try to make a 1/4 of an inch more positive. And from what I heard and read, that over time it could even out. There's always a little more pressure when stringing and everything else, when you put the bow on your heel and you push it. That's what I've been told. Make it a 1/4 inch more. And that's what I've been doing. I've been making the top limb bend a 1/4 of an inch more when I have the string on for the the actual correct string size, and I'm for the brace height that I want. I measure from these tiller marks again, okay, and I make sure that it's a 1/4 inch more on the top. Today is September 2nd, and I have 2 bow blanks that I made that have imperfections. And this one I believe is minor. It's got a knot that came out, and I'll be able to mix some hickory and AE40, put tape here and fill it up, and then sand it out, and I'm sure it'll be fine. Right now it's 68 inches. I can make it a little shorter, but it's fine. It's fire hardened. I'll show you the other one I got cooking. This is another hickory bow blank that I didn't want to waste, and I think this one is going to break. So this has this pithy wood here underneath. Let me show you. Pithy wood. And I'm fire hardening it. And I'm going to get some glue and try and let some glue sink in there. And I'm just going to tiller it and see if it breaks. I just couldn't bring myself to throw it out, and it's so far down. It's so far down, I couldn't make a shorter bow with it. I have 2 backset jigs. One is kind of an aggressive one, leaves like a 3-inch or so backset, and this is a milder one. And the pithy wood bow that may explode is on the milder backset jig. I had some questionable staves, and I decided to try and make bow blanks out of them, see if I can make a bow. This one here had some funky wood, and I decided to fire harden it, and I figured once I fire harden it, it got like charcoal, I would be able to scrape it if it came out, if anything came out. This is all pretty solid. On the bottom here, there was a lot of this wood here turned to charcoal. I was able to scrape it out, and it looks pretty good. I'm going to touch it up one more time. I'm going to put a little AE40, and I have some sawdust from the hickory, and we're going to mix it up and fill up the gap. And then we got nothing to lose but a piece of wood. I'm going to let it dry overnight, put string grooves in, and see if I can tiller it without breaking. It'll be kind of amazing if it don't break, but it was worth a shot. Because why? I had a friend came over, we finished a new hunting bow for him today, and I decided to play, so I played, and this is what I got so far. I wiped it out with alcohol, then I took a toothpick, and I used pure A40 first, just to get all the edges and everything coated. Now I'm going to take a little bit and mix it up with some of this sawdust here. I'm going to put it on here. Fill in the holes. Fill in a large crack. It's kind of hard to do this and hold the camera. Filling it in. Now this has to be tillered, okay? This has to be tillered, and there's a lot of meat here. And this is just to make it structurally sound, so as I'm tillering it and removing material, it don't break. And I'm hoping that as I tiller it, I'm going to remove enough material that most of this will disappear. So all of this is just to create structural support. Right? Tillering probably tomorrow. We'll see what. I wiped a little AE40 on the side too. This is the back of the bow. There's a big hump there. And this is the belly. And we're going to let it cure overnight, and then take it down. Okay, this is the other stave that had a knot in the limb that came out. So this one, I believe I'll be able to, I'm going to clean it up. You see I have tape. this packing tape on the side to keep the epoxy in. And I'm going to fill it up with AE40, and I have hickory sawdust that I save. I always save hickory sawdust. And I'm going to mix some sawdust with the AE40 epoxy and put it in. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit, and I'm going to wipe it out with the alcohol like I did the other one and fill it up, and I'll show you. I scraped it up. I wiped it with the alcohol. I'm going to put tape on the side, and then we're going to fill it up. We have it filled, and we'll let it cure till tomorrow, and we'll see if we have time to get this one tilled too. Good morning. Today's Wednesday, September 3rd, and this is the stave with the punky wood, and I filled it in with AE40 and some sawdust just for some structural, just for a little structural stability while I micro-tiller this. And what I'm going to do now is that I have some stability in that wood. As you can see, I left it a little thicker, and don't be confused by this bump, the hump in the back, all right? And I'm going to take down some material. I drew a line. See, the limbs are pretty thin here, a little thicker here. I'm going to even out the limbs. I put string grooves in. And when you put string grooves in, you want to check them, right? You draw a line with a 45 and make a cut. And what you do is you put a string in and make sure that they're level. If one side is higher than the other, you're going to mark it a little bit with a pencil so you have an idea how far you have to take it down. Don't forget the string fits on the lays on the bottom. That's why they have pin knocks sometimes for the strings. So it lays on the bottom. So if one side's higher, you got to take it down to level it out, okay? Then you check the back and make sure that where the grooves are is even and the string lays down, okay? So you want everything to be even when you're done, all right? That's it. We're going to micro-till this today. And because we're only going down an inch at a time and taking off wood where it's flat, the hope is that this punky wood bow here, some of the material will be taken off, and we'll be able to get it to flex and make a bow out of without breaking. And there's a good chance it could break. So we'll see what happens today. This punky bow blank was heated up and put on the back set jig with a heat gun to help take out a twist and get it aligned with the jig. And the fire hardening process made that change permanent. It cooked it to the jig. So I left it a tiny bit thicker, and look, you remember all that punkiness? It's kind of gone. You can see it from the side. Okay, we have the limbs even now. Okay, with the exception you can't look at the back with the bumps. Okay, the limbs are even, and we're going to start the tillering process. I have my tillering marks. They're 3/4 from the bottom of the string groove. They're at the fade outs. They're even from the center, these fade out marks. So they're 4 inches on each side. And then from this point, 3/4, I measured the distance and I repeated it on the other side so they're even. And then I put a center mark. Had a friend stop by, had to say hello, but we're back to going to tillering the bow. You can see the back set, okay? This is the punky bow. And we're going to move the limbs down just a little past, so we got them a little level, okay? And we're going to make sure, don't look at the post in this wall because everything's out of alignment. This post moves, see? I'm just making sure that when I look at it, the back of the bow, which is the part that's away from you, is level here with the post. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start marking it, the low spots, and we'll start marking the low spots, and we're going to remove material. We have the little bit of back set, and we're going to start the tillering process. We're going to take these limbs, and we're going to bend them a little bit past level so we can use the yardstick. Okay? Now let's go see what we got. You'll see we got a bend going on here, and we have a no bend going on here. So from here to here, we need to remove material and get this bending a little. And if we look here, there's a little flat spot here. Okay? So let's look at the other limb. And we're not going to go down. We got this, if you look in the back at the 16 mark, and we're not going to go down past that until we get these bends nice. Okay? So now if we look, we got a nicer bend going here, but we definitely have flat spots. A little flat spot here, and we got a little flat spot here. Okay? We have more of a bend on this limb than we do the other limb. So this process is we're going to stay at this until we get a perfect bend. And as we remove material from one limb, it changes the other limb. So it's a balance. It's a slow dance between getting a mirror image even from the split in the middle here on both sides, a perfect bend. But we're going to work on it. We remove material. We're going to check it out. See what we did, what didn't do. Got our pencil, here we go. And this side here, I touched up a little bit over here, and we're starting to have a little bend, but you can see from here to here, we don't have enough of a bend, okay? And then let's see over here what we got over here. From here to here, we can see we got a bend going on. We got a bend going on. There's a little flat spot here. And then if we look from here down, we got a dip. The dip starts here. See the dip? It's got a dip. Okay, so we got to remove material here. Back and forth. We're starting to get a nice bend here. And if you look, we got a little low spot right here needs to bend from here to here. We need to get it to bend a little right in there in that pocket, okay? Let's see what we got over here. We're starting to get a real nice bend here, and we got the low spot now moved to here, okay? So we got to take a little bit off here. All right, let's just check how much this is bending over here quick by eye. Okay, this could go a little bit more. This is the third time. Let's see what it looks like. And we're looking for the bend, a nice even bend. Okay. See what we got here. We got more of a bend here and less of a bend here. So we're gonna put a little line in the middle here, and that'll tell me that I have to get this end to bend a little more. Let's look over here and see what we got over here. Okay, when we look over here, we got a nice bend and a flat spot. We got a flat spot that's from here to here. Okay, that's the flat spot. And we're not worried about the distance quite yet. I want to get them to bend nice. All right, we're at that 16 mark, and it's just a reference mark. Let's see what we got here. Got a pretty decent bend here. From here to here. Right in here. We got a flat spot in here. Okay, let me just see what we got. We got a 1/2 inch. Let's see what we got over here. We got, look at this here, we got a really nice bend here, okay? We're getting there, nice bend. We got a little dip here too, okay? We got about a 1/2 inch, but we got to take a little off of this too. right here. This got a little flat spot. Okay, we're getting there, a little at a time. You can tell it looks better already, right? And you see the whole point of this is I didn't go down. I'm still at this 16 mark. And guys who fire harden or whatever, do whatever, they break their bows, is because they didn't take the time to even the stress out on the limbs. All right, they wanted to rush it. So go down, do not go down 1 inch until you get this bending the way you want it to bend. Okay, let's see what we got. Look, we got a nice bend here now, right? We got a bend going on. We got 5/8 almost. Let's see what we got here. We got 5/8. All right. There might be a little tiny bit to touch up here. Tiny bit. Almost barely anything, but we're going to mark it right here. Okay, let's see what we got over here. That dip is almost gone. Almost gone. But we have a dip over here. Almost got the 5/8. So we got a little dip over here. Right here. Okay. Okay. So this is like 4 or 5 times. And we're at the same distance. But it's saving the bow. It'll save you from breaking bows. We have a better bend. We got 5/8. We got a better bend. We got 5/8. We're going to go down another inch. I'm going to see if anything jumps out. As you go down, some flat spots or something may appear. Okay, it looks good. It looks good. We're bending all the way through. We got about 3/4. Looks good. We're bending all the way through. We got 3/4. We're going to go down another inch. And what we're doing as we go down, we're looking to see if we're creating any bigger, gigantic bend where we got to take off some material. So as we're looking now at this here, see if you can see from the camera, we went down a few inches, right? And what we see now is we got a bigger bend here, and we kind of have a little flat spot here. Okay, a little flat spot right here. Okay, and we want to be careful, take it off. We don't want to hinge, so we're just going to remove this right here. And then let's look over here, what we got over here. And as we look over here, we got that nice bend, right? And then look at the flat spot. We got a big flat spot from here to here, right? See, we went down a couple inches, and what are we at now? We're at like 19. And that 19 is nothing more than a reference point. Now, you got to admit, it didn't take us long to get to this point. And we go down a little bit more, and we can get a string on this. All right, with that pithy area wood that's actually behind us, hopefully it don't break. Now, you got to look. Look at the overall bend. You got to admit, that's a pretty good-looking bend, right? All right, and that really wasn't that much going back and forth. And we're at a 1 inch mark, okay? Let's look over here. And we got a nice bend. You can't ask for a better bend here. And we got a 1-inch mark here too. Okay, it's just about a string. Let's just take a quick look at the bend. We got a nice bend going on, you can see. No real flat spots. Maybe a hair there, I don't know. Let's check it out. Got a real nice perfect bend. Let me see how much this is bending. Now we want the top limb to be a quarter bending, a quarter more when the string's on it. Okay, we got an 1.25 inches here. And we got an 1.25 inches here. So we're going to throw a string on, and whenever you throw a string on, for whatever reason, it'll always be off a little and you'll have to correct it. So I'm going to stop it here and get a string. I have a string with a very short brace height. I put it on, and when I put it on, I could tell there's still a lot of weight on this bow. I got to make a little bit of a weight reduction. And with the Tillering marks, you know, like I said, this is only a 4.5 inch brace, but from the Tillering marks, we got 5.5, and we got 5.25. The bottom limb is bending a quarter more. We need the top limb to bend more. So we got to remove some material on the top, and I got to find a shorter string. So we're going to remove some material on the top and do a little weight reduction, because I'm afraid I don't want it with this punky limb here. I want to give it half a chance. It feels very heavy. This is the top limb. I have a 1/4 inch positive top tiller on the top limb. I'm going to work it a little bit. Just going to pull it down a little bit and check the bends. Make sure there's nothing that looks like a hinge. Obviously, there's always a little twist in these bows. And don't pay attention to the back. There's bumps and humps. Okay, got a nice bend. Got a nice bend, nothing pops out. That was only a 20-inch draw. So, the question is, when I pull this down to my short 26.5 inch, will it be able to take it? Will it make it? We're going to put a scale on, and we're going to go down a little and see what kind of weight we got. If I go down and it's like 45 pounds before I get to my draw length, then I'm going to reduce some weight. If this bow didn't have that punky material in it, it would be done. It would be a great bow. I wouldn't even think twice about it. But there's a good chance that when I get it down to my draw length, it's going to snap. And that was kind of what I thought all along, but we're going to see. Let's see the weight as we pull it down. We got 46 pounds at 24-inch actual draw. 46 pounds at an actual 24-inch draw. So what I'm going to do is we got to go down 2 more inches, and I'm going to reduce some weight. I reduce more weight. We still have that 1/4 inch positive tiller on the top. And let's see what we get. Hopefully it's not a broken bow, but we'll see. We got 48 at my draw length. 48 pounds at my draw length. And it didn't break. Let me check out the punkiness. No cracks, no nothing really to speak of. Okay, I could round it a little bit more maybe. think I'm going to shape a handle and shoot it this way, and we'll see what happens. I have the riser shaped nice, sanded. It's looking good. I'm going to get the other tips are done. I'm going to get the other bow out now that had the piece of knot that's missing, and I'm going to start working on that. And in another video, or at the end of this video, I'm going to show you shooting both of them. Hopefully. This one worked out. The other one should too. This 68-inch bow that I fire hardened with the knot that I filled in looks so good that I tapered the tips, and I'm going to put rosewood tip overlays that I had rosewood, and I'm going to put some tip overlays on these. I'm going to glue them on with AE40 and then put string grooves in, and then we'll tiller it. Dark brown leather dye and warm satin polyurethane, first coat. Good morning, it's Friday, September 5th, and we're going to tiller this bow today. I'm not going to actually show you the process because I don't want to bore you to death, but that's the plan, is we're going to tiller this today. And this was a sapling that I had cut down. It had so a little bit of natural backset, so I put it on the aggressive backset jig. And yesterday I put it on the tillering tree with a long string, and I went to pull it down, and it was like 90 pounds. So I drew some lines, and I just took it down, and I put it on, and I said, okay, this will work. I got it to bend a little. So instead of you watching me tiller it already, you've seen me tiller bows before, I'm going to get this tillered and shaped out, and I'll show you when it's done. Okay, it's a beautiful day today. It's the calm before the storm. We're having some stormy weather coming tonight, tomorrow, and into Sunday morning. So that's it. Just want to show you that this bow that had this knot missing, okay, I put AE40, and look, as I tilted it and shaped the limbs, it's almost disappeared, but that epoxy is structurally sound. Okay, so it's going to make a great bow. I have it tillered, a 1/4 inch positive, 6.5 inch brace height. The 1/4 inch positive means it's bending a 1/4 inch more on the top limb when you make a bow, and the string will favor one side, and that'll determine the top limb. Okay, so it favors this side. So for a right-handed shooter, the shelf would be on this side, or your arrow pad, or whatever you're going to do, shape the handle, that's the side you're going to shoot the arrow off of. Okay, when I mark the shelf, I have the center. I put my middle finger on the center. I hold it like this. I draw a line above my hand. I cut an X with a hacksaw, and then I use a chisel and cut it down and make the shelf. Okay, so that's it. If you were lefty, and the string favors this side here, if you're looking at it, now the string will favor this side, and you would tiller it for this would be the top limb, and this would be bending a little bit more for a lefty. But we have this tillered and shaped for a right-handed person. And a lot of times, if you lay your bow blank down and run a string from the center, just lay the string with the loop perfect in the center like a tillering string, and pull it down to the other tip and look at it, you will see that it favors one side. And then figure out how you hold it in your hand, which side it favors, and just put a little T there, okay? So you have a T I always put before I start tillering. And most of the time, you know, I had one time or two times where I'm pulling it back, I flip it over, I pull it back, and I'm saying, okay, maybe the other side's the top limb, okay? Because it was so close, so perfect, okay? But you it's a primitive bow, and you kind of want it to favor, you know, it happens all the time. It favors one side, and you want that. Because since it favors this side and I cut a shelf, it's going to be center or a hair past center because the string favors that side. So that's why all the bows that I make, everybody's like impressed that, wow, I pull it back, I hit where I'm looking, you know, because the string will favor one side, and that's the side that has the shelf. So I'm going to shape it up, and even though it's 28, I'll let a couple arrows fly out of it a little later. Got it all finished. It's looking good. I sanded it, kind of, not finish sanded, but I sanded it. Somebody local wants to buy this, they could come over, I'll show it to them, maybe make the grip fit a little better, or they like it the way it is. And it can be stained in polyurethane at a later date. But it came out awesome. Let's see if we can find that little spot. I want to show you, after Tillering, it's almost non-existent. This bow is going to last a long time. Okay, let's go shoot these things. We have the two bows outside. This is the Punky Hunter bow. You can see that top limb a little better here with the sunlight on it. Okay, it's structurally sound. We're going to do a chronograph. This one here is 46 at my draw length of 26, and I'm going to be shooting these Eastern Legacies that are 445 grains out of it. And the other nice bow that I made, that's fire hardened hickory with the rosewood tips, that's about, I would say that's 46 at 28, and it's 41 and a little bit more at my 26 and a half, and I'm going to shoot 500 center shots out of this one. So let me put this on, get set up, and we're all set up. This is the Legacy out of the Punky Hunter. .148. Do one more. Tell you what, it's a workout. Just stringing these bows, tilling them and unstringing them. So let's see. Here we go. We got 148. Let's see. .145. So the Punky Hunter is shooting them 145 to 148. This one is about 41 and a half out of my 26 and a half inch draw, and it's about 46 at 28. It's 68 inches long. By the way, the other one was only 62 inches long. So they don't make these anymore. These are Beeman center shots, 500 spline. Okay, let's see what we got for a speed out of this. 134. Let me see another one. .136. Okay, so this is a little longer. It goes to show you that to have a bow for your draw length, the correct height. So a 62 to 64 inch bow is more appropriate for my shorter draw length, where this is 68, and you don't store as much energy in the limbs because it's spread out to a longer bow. So this is made for person with a 28 inch draw. It'll be shooting pretty fast at 28, but at 26 and a half, you don't store as much energy as a shorter bow, so you have less of a feet per second. But it's still 136, kicking it out of there at my short 26 and a half inch draw. All right, I'm going to get these arrows and we're going to do a little shoot. Take a couple of shots with the Punky Hunter. This is my backup bow, and the furthest I have to shoot this year is 15 yards from where my stand is. So let's see. That's like 10 yards. That deer's like 15 yards. Okay, let's check out the arrows quick. Not bad for the first time shooting this, actually shooting it. Okay, that's 15 yards, and there's no pad on it. Put a pad on, it'll be hitting where I'm looking. Going to get the other bow and take a few shots with the other bow. Okay, let's shoot that 10-yard bear. Let's shoot that 15-yard deer. See if we can hit that 15-yard deer with this bow. Okay, let's check it out. Not bad for arrows that are not tuned. All right, we got the 10 yards at the bear and 15 yards at the deer. Okay, got it? We got it. Okay, so that's the end of this video. And I just wanted to go over, you know, if you have some imperfections and you're deciding to tiller it, shore it up, make sure it's supported with the little epoxy if you have to throw it in. If you think you'll be able to get past that part and eliminate that, whatever the problem is, through tillering, make it structurally sound before you start removing material so it'll bend and not crack. And with any luck, you'll go past that point and you won't have that problem anymore. But what that epoxy did was allow me to get through the tillering process until it almost disappeared, okay? And I have two good shooting bows. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Every day you get up is a great day. Do something. Go out, shoot, make a bow. Check out Dad Beckham Outdoors and Shannon Outdoors, their fire hardening DVDs, the tillering DVD, 1,000-year-old bow on YouTube, how to tiller, 24-hour bow. All right, I learned all this from them. I had the honor of talking to Keith Shannon a couple of times for a few hours each time, and I learned a lot. I'm grateful. Okay, made me a better bowyer. All right, thanks for watching.